Rex on the beat.
How's it going, guys? You're at the Ferris for Fitness YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be discussing the topic of bro science. So to get right into it, what is bro science? There's really not a technical definition for it, but I'm going to try to define it, as quickly as best as I can. The easiest way I can define bro science, 'cause I know a lot of times that gets thrown out there, and especially noobs, people who aren't familiar with it or training or nutrition or whatever, they really don't know what it means. So just to define it, again, you can define it however you like. This is kind of how I define it. It's just people who don't have a great understanding or a great, self-education, formal or informal, regardless of, majority of it is just diet and exercise. They just don't. They don't understand, biomechanics of, exercise movements. They don't understand, human physiology. They don't understand nutritional as a science. It's clear once you hear these people talk about certain things, they just don't understand things. And that's pretty much it. They give out information that they don't understand and that shouldn't be taken, seriously, or shouldn't be followed. But the catch point of this is that majority of these people who give out this information have pretty dang good physiques, if you even give out, if you go to the next level of professional bodybuilders, they have amazing physiques. So you have people, this is how it kind of happens. You have people with amazing physiques that people admire, and then you have this information that they're giving out that's horrible, or for the most part, most people that I know, that practice the bro science or IFBB pros or whatever, just give out blatantly bad information, especially for people who are natural, and it creates this thing called bro science, which is really just an effed up way of looking at, bodybuilding and fitness, because what's working for these people, yes, bro science is going to work, but it's not necessary to see results. And that's the main thing that people need to understand. Obviously, eating your complex carbohydrates and eating every X amount of hours, and a casein shake before bed, or waxy maize after a workout, all this stuff, is it gonna work? Yeah, it's gonna work if you're training with intensity, if you're eating, the right macronutrients. Regardless of how you do it, it's gonna work to some point, to some extent. But that doesn't mean that's what you have to do or that's what you should do to see results. I mean, it's that simple, and it makes people's lives just really kind of revolve around it, which is not what it should be, unless you're, unless you have supreme genetics and you actually have a chance of, becoming a professional bodybuilder. And even then, majority of those guys still hold, jobs, unless you're, a top 5 Mr. Olympia contender or something like that. So you need to understand that it's not your life. It's just, a part of your life. We all like to eat, we all like to train, we all like to do that stuff, probably a lot more than the average person, but you understand it's just a part of your life. And making it a huge part of your life, and oh, I can't hang out with this person, I can't hang out with my girlfriend tonight because I have to get my 7th meal in. That's just really, it's just an unhealthy way of thinking about it. So that's just why I don't like, people who perpetrate bro science and things like that. And it's really bad, because I don't think a lot of these people that perpetrate it like that even do it. They just kind of preach to do that. I don't think a lot of these people on the YouTube channels are eating 6, 7, 8 times a day. I don't think these people are taking casein shakes before bed unless they get this stuff for free. I think they just kind of tell people to do that stuff because that's what they think is true. And the main point, before I get into some of the specifics, is it's easy to fall into that trap, because especially when you're young, that's who I really want to speak to in this video, is the young kids, because they see these people with these amazing physiques and they don't know any better. When you first, it's the same thing. When you play basketball, you look at Kobe Bryant, you look at Michael Jordan, and you want to do the Kobe Bryant workout or whatever. It's no different when you're trying to pursue a physique. You're going to look at Jay Cutler, and you're going to be 15, 16 years old, and you're not going to know that, oh, he's on steroids, he's on completely different rules than I am. And you see him eating brown rice and broccoli or whatever, and then you eat it, and then you train like him, and you see some results, and you're like, oh, well, this works, I'm going to keep doing it. And then you either get to a point where you just keep doing that for the rest of your life, and your life is kind of hectic and revolves around bodybuilding, or you kind of learn the truth and you can just kind of manage, your bodybuilding life within your life, and that's what it should be. It should be a part of your life again. I can't say that enough. Is that some people just take it too seriously. They're like, I have to get up at this time and eat, and I have to this, and this. No, you don't. I mean, you don't. You can, and you'll see results, but you don't have to do that. Your results aren't going to be any better than mine if you eat, 8 times a day and I eat 4. I mean, assuming we're eating the same foods in the same quantities. I mean, so it's not necessary, and again, it creates a really unhealthy way of thinking about it. And that's pretty much all I have to say in general about the topic. And then just to end, just to give some bro science examples, so I guess some people can kind of be on the lookout for people who are just spouting out like this nonsense for the most part. I'll start with nutrition, I guess. I've done a video on myths before. If you want to check that out, I don't have a link to or anything, but it'll be on my channel somewhere. The eating X amount of hours, there have been studies after study that show, if you eat the same foods, you eat the same quantities, it doesn't matter if you eat 3 meals or 6 meals. It just doesn't. So anyone that tells you that doesn't know what they're talking about, and immediately just stop listening to the majority of what they say, at least about nutrition. The post-workout, that's another huge one. I don't know how many people I see at the gym that just chug protein shakes after their workout. I don't know if they're in love with the post-workout myth or hour of window, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if they're just doing that or they're just trying to get a protein shake in, because there's nothing wrong with a protein shake. But those are just some things with nutrition. Obviously, the complex carbohydrate, that's a big one. Nothing against complex carbohydrates, but a lot of people fear sugar and, even fear like simple carbohydrates. Like I've had people ask me if white potatoes were, healthy for you. And I don't like, saying foods are, quote unquote healthy or unhealthy, because it depends. You need to examine the entire diet, and that's a different topic. But, it comes to a point when now people are like, oh, there's fructose in a banana. Should I eat a banana because it's sugar? I mean, just like, it's like, come on. There's so much, like white potatoes, bananas. Is fruit good? Like, yes, fruit's good. You can eat fruit, I promise. there's so much just bad information out there. And then so that's all I'll say about nutrition. I mean, you can get really into it. You can get really into it if you want, as far as nutrition goes. There's a lot of things, but those are just some of the main things. Casein before bed, hundreds of things I've heard. It's just ridiculous. So those are the things, like the main things I would say to look out for. And then when it comes to exercise, it gets a little more complicated, because majority of these people, that follow that bro science kind of diet, they'll do, I don't like to call them bro splits, but they'll follow a typical, non-natural professional bodybuilder split, which isn't ineffective for them, because they're, like I've said before, they're on a completely different set of rules. I mean, you're pretty much, especially when you're at the level of Jay Cutler and Kai Green and Phil Heath, they have so many, chemicals in their body with steroids and insulin and the fat loss drugs, that they're essentially changing their genetics. They're not the same person as me and you, assuming that you're natural. So their training style and their stimulus to their muscles is really different. And even there's even been some arguments. I once read I read a lot of Lyle McDonald stuff, and he even once said that if a lot of the IFBB pro guys trained more like naturals do, kind of more frequency, lower volume for the most part, they would see even better results. You really would never know that, especially over a long period of time. These guys aren't going to make, most of those guys are older now. They're not going to make, dramatic gains when they're 40 years old. But it's even been argued that if they trained, a little bit smarter, that they could see better results. So again, what a lot of these people will do, they'll train the, Monday chest, Tuesday back, Wednesday off, Thursday legs, Friday arms, Saturday shoulders, or the frequency, like I've said, of like once a week, a muscle group, and it's pretty much, been shown that that's not, optimal for naturals. And again, that's going to be not as big as an issue as the nutrition, because a lot of people will just surround their life with nutrition, especially with the timing. That's the big one. With the exercise thing, you're going to see if hit your count your calories, hit your macronutrients every day, and you train like an idiot, you're still going to get pretty good results. It's not going to be optimal, but you could do the bro split and eat right and not have to micromanage your life in a way with all the bro science stuff and still get results. I'd much rather see a person do that than a person eat like a bro and then train like someone more intelligently. At least in my eyes, if you're a natural. So typically, again, this is not just my opinion on these things. I get a lot of my information from Lyle McDonald, Alan Aragon, more of a scientific approach to it, and it's been proven that, especially for naturals, that the training frequency needs to be higher. So just an example: Monday upper, Tuesday lower, Wednesday off, Thursday upper, Friday lower. Something like that, or a push-pull legs. I'll probably do a video on, splits or whatever. Those are just some examples, higher frequency. So you're hitting your chest 2 or 3 times a week, your legs twice a week. That's been shown. And if you look at a lot of natural bodybuilders, natural being the key word, Lane Norton, can't think of another guy's name, from Tommy Jeffers from Scivation. Wow. Josh Hyaduck. There's a lot of natural. I don't know a lot of natural bodybuilders because it's not as mainstream as professional. But if you look at a lot of them train, it's higher frequency because they found that that's just the best thing to do for a natural. So wrap this up because it's getting a pretty long video. Again, bro science. You're gonna get results with bro science. I'm not saying if anyone's saying that bro science doesn't work, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that simply it's not necessary. Majority of the things they do are not necessary, and then when it comes to exercise, it's not optimal for naturals. So, like I said, be on the lookout for a lot of those signs. People talking about simple versus complex carbohydrates and timing of nutrients and things of that nature. And again, a lot of them are a lot of the YouTube channels or people in general. They might have a really good foundation, and then they might just have one kind of stupid thing that they say, and that's that's okay. There's a lot of debate on like branched chain amino acids and during training. Some people will say it's not a debate at all, but it's typically a debate. There are some things that are up for debate, and then but majority of the things are pretty black and white. As in, no, you don't need to do this, or no, it's not necessary. So those are the things you need to look out for. Videos getting too long. And then one channel I would recommend checking out. I'm wearing his shirt now. His channel is a lot bigger than mine, so if you're following my channel, your odds are you're probably following his. But it is called Lifting for Life by Ian McCarthy. I'm not going to stand by 100% by what I'm not going to stand 100% of information from anybody. But I would definitely recommend his channel because majority of the stuff he puts out is really good. I've learned a lot from him, and I've learned a lot from as far as like getting resources to learn even more. And then he has a Facebook page as well called No Bullshit Bodybuilding. So that's it, guys. Just want to do a video on bro science, and I'll talk to you guys later.